back to your Daily Dose. My name is Robert. I'm here with my pal David Mickey Evans, director, writer, and so many other things from The Sandlot. We have a mutual friend. In fact, how we got to know each other, I want to send a shout out to them. Our friends at Dugout Mugs, these incredibly cool things, hollowed out baseball bats, actual hollowed out baseball bats that they create artwork out of. Is that The Sandlot? There it is. The Sandlot etched into the side of that thing.
These are etched and my humble autograph.
And your autograph put in there. Unbelievable. They did this, yeah. Go ahead.
I got a text into Chris. He owns a company.
Right.
To send you and Doug a set of these. It comes with this. It comes with the hat.
Awesome.
And a little photo that I signed for him for your auction.
Thank you. And so
yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you're perfect. And speaking of that, so shout out to Chris, Dugout Mugs. Go visit them. We'll put the link down here. It's incredible. It's beautiful. They make the most amazing gifts. They are sincerely jaw-dropping. When you get them, you feel
they really are.
They're incredible.
They're works of art. Yeah.
That's exactly it. The etchings are they're spot on. And it's toward this program. What are we doing an auction for? Well, it's this thing called cinema therapy, this program I developed in my PhD program to help people, in this case with Parkinson's, rewrite their personal narrative of what it means to have Parkinson's. Because the hard thing with the chronic illness, is you can succumb to the idea of the disease or what other people tell you about the disease and stop living your life, right? You can get frozen. You can end up in what we've called the Parkinson's prison, but I came up with something today I think you're going to like based on The Sandlot. It's the Parkinson's pickle, because that's that isn't that
awesome? Yeah.
Because the pickle is everything in The Sandlot. When I was breaking down your film to put it into the hero's journey, I go, this whole film is based on the pickle, right? I mean, it says, and you say it in the opening dialogue.
Right.
So the Parkinson's pickle is, oh my God, I've got this disease. What am I going to do? And again, Smalls has ruined his life by getting that Babe Ruth ball. It's impossible, right? And that is the mentality we're trying to put into people through the power of writing, that they can rewrite the narrative of what it means to live well with Parkinson's. You have an amazing story that I heard through the Dugout interviews about being fired from Radio Flyer, your first project, being like, what in the world am I going to do now? I mean, high profile, totally embarrassing thing. And you turned in that ride home from Transpo, you turned that anger, fear, whatever into The Sandlot. Do you want to kind of recap that?
Yeah, sure. It was a really weird time in Hollywood. Sony bought Columbia, and there were mergers and all kinds of stuff going on. And, the heads of studios were going to other studios and lawsuits were flying. And in the middle of all that, I had this script, Radio Flyer, and John Peters, who had run Warner's, and then he was over at Columbia. He said, "You wrote my life, kid." And he, purchased the script and all that. And it was the fix was in, to use baseball parlance at the time. There was no intention of letting me, complete the film and all that, because there was too much other stuff. Because that little script was wanted by everybody, and none the least of which Richard Donner, God rest his soul, my mentor, the big one of Hollywood's biggest all-time directors. So I kind of got put through the washing machine on that one, and then they gave me 8 days in the chair. So I directed for 8 days, and literally the 8th day they said, "You're fired." So I got to ride home, and I was like, "Oh man, now what?" So I got to write another one, and I've got to write one that is contained. Movies with a lot of locations take a lot of time, and they're very expensive. Movies with fewer locations in general, will cost less because, you're not going anywhere,
And to add some stakes to this, you as this young writer, this veritable unknown coming off being fired, you've got a very short window to turn this into your name.
When Richard Donner took over directing Radio Flyer, I went, he was incredibly gracious to me. He said, "Come, you sit by me the entire time, blah, blah, blah." And I did. And he took me down the road. We were up in Novato, California, shooting some stuff. The first day I showed up on set, and he says, "I'm going to tell you something. You got screwed, kid." And I'm like, yeah. And he says, "But you gotta listen to me. Everybody in Hollywood gets a second chance. Wow. Nobody gets a third." And he says, "Make your second chance." And so I did. And it was before that, and I wrote the script, and I was all over town, and I could have sold that. I broke records with the script for Radio Flyer as far as what studio paid for it. I could have done it again by a factor of 2 with The Sandlot, but I really wanted to direct it. I had something to prove, you know, and I took a lot less, and but I had the opportunity to do it. And here, 30 years and some change later, I'm doing a interview with you, helping out your incredible program here. And had I just sold it and given it up, we wouldn't be here, you know.
No, and here's the part about the resilience and also about the rewriting the story. I love everything you said. I wanted to highlight this as well. You mentioned that there was a traumatic event that you had these kids. They're not the kids from the Sandlot, but they're some variation of them. You guys were outsiders, you and your brother. They hit the ball over the brick wall. There's only one ball. We know the time. I grew up in that era. You got one ball, game's over. And your brother, wanting to be part of things, say, "Hey, kid, you can come play with us," goes and jumps over the wall. There's a dog named Hercules, like you said, poor mistreated thing, as it were. Instead of getting away like Benny, though, your brother gets mauled.
Yeah, he got bit real bad up on the thigh, tore him up, had to go to the emergency room with a whack of stitches and all that sort of thing. Of course, crying, all this, and the other kids are laughing at him. When I was coming back from getting canned off Radio Flyer, that whole incident popped into my head, and I said, "Oh my gosh,
Right.
that's a movie. A bunch of kids." I mean, this was all I thought at the time, was a bunch of kids. They play basketball in the street during basketball season, and baseball during baseball season. And it's during the summer, so it's baseball, and they have one ball, and they got to get it back from a scary dog. That was it. I said, I can make a movie out of that. I got it. And that was it. But what I had to do was turn all of those bullies and all those guys that beat us up, I mean, physically and mentally beat us up all the time. I had to turn them all into heroes.
There it is. And I loved when you said that, because in traditional hero's journey, you're usually talking about a singular journey. However, you've got an ensemble piece. We know that Smalls has a problem. We also know that Benny becomes not just a mentor, but truly a hero, because he doesn't inspire Smalls to go over the fence. He couldn't do that. But Benny does it for him. The friendship becomes the hero's journey, not just between the two of them, but for all of them. And that's why it's so beautifully framed, right? At the beginning and the end of Benny and Smalls. You see it was them. Everyone in between, they have their arcs, they do beautiful things, but they all have their hero's moment throughout the journey. And that's one of the many things I love about this.
Yeah, listen, I've read all the Joseph Campbell stuff. You know that way better than I do, but yeah, it fits into that paradigm, that thing. It really does. And the thing I was talking to my kids. I have a kid in Berkeley, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and here where I live in Florida. And we're separated. I was just talking to him this morning about this, by a lot of miles, but we check in with each other a couple times a day, and there's a reason I was telling you this, and now it just flew out of my head. It's oh, here it is. And I said, look, the miles don't mean anything, guys, because you guys have a dad that would literally do anything for you, number one, who checks in with you every day. I'm not trying to run their lives, just, do you need anything, blah blah blah. And I said to them, because one of my sons was feeling down about himself, and I said, look, buddy, you've got two brothers and a sister and a dad that would literally jump in front of a bullet for you, okay? And you do the same for them and me. And that's the way it is. Benny and Scotty are like that. Benny takes the bullet for Scotty. I mean, as much as he can. He's got to go get the ball. He's not going to be able to take a beating from, the stepfather. Not that, but he's going to get the ball back because it's the right thing to do. And because Benny can and Scotty can't. And,
right.
Look, aren't we supposed to do that? Isn't that what we're supposed to do as human beings? Right?
Yeah.
Love yourself, be good with yourself and whoever your God is, but put other people before you.
And they not only that, they heal Mr. Myrtle too. And
100%.
their whole fear factor about him and the neighborhood legend and kids being kids. By the way, that's a microcosm for all of us. All of us tell stories. Our memories are, pardon the term, but bullshit for the most part. We
Yeah, right.
with emotion, right? We tell them with all everything. But, and therefore it's not just kids who run away with stuff. Adults, everybody does that too. And here's Mr. Myrtle, the scariest guy ever. He's as scary as Hercules, the unbelievable dog. And you know what? He's a man that saves his bacon at the end.
He does. Yeah. It's funny you should say that because I've been asked a million times, so what is Mr. Myrtle's story? Blah, blah, because you only get a little bit of it in the movie, right? Well, one thing I can tell you is that there is a prequel to The Sandlot. It takes place in 1950.
Wait a minute, where is this right now? Just in script form, or
it's a script sitting on an executive's desk at
man,
Features and Disney.
Oh man,
we came that close to getting the green light to make it, and then COVID.
Oh,
and then the head of Fox got fired, and then nobody was put in to replace that person, and then Disney bought Fox. So it's this bizarre machine.
Yeah,
but
it's in turnaround.
It's not in turnaround. No, it's in active development.
It is.
It still is. Yeah, I mean,
good.
I'm doing this current. Can't really tell you what it is. Sandlot project with Disney and Fox, and it's going to be a big deal. And the idea is that when that happens, I think they're going to give me the nod and they'll allow me to make it. But I mean, there is where you find out who Mr. Myrtle is, where he comes from, how he went blind, how he knew Babe Ruth, and where the beast comes from.
Now, when this breaks and you can share this, you're coming back on the show, right? We can
100%.
do. Okay, when you can, we're coming back. 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've run over on this episode, but if I can still keep you around, I got a couple more things for you. Is that okay? Can you hang out for a
go ahead. Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Okay. We'll be back in a minute with more David Mickey Evans and Sandlot and all these cool things we're doing.